So, Varun, what did you think about Marvel's Eternals?
I think, in my opinion, it is the Batman versus Superman of MCU.
Oh, really? Let's talk about it. Oh my god, that was so fake. Hello, guys, welcome to Indian Society. I'm Nona Prince and I'm joined by Varun.
Hi guys.
And today we'll be sharing our initial thoughts on the Marvel's Eternals, the new latest MCU film, which came out on 5th, I guess, for everyone around the
Yes.
globe, hopefully. And this will be a non-spoiler review. We'll not get into the spoilers or the plot details or post-credit scenes, anything like that, but we'll definitely talking about the impact of the story and where it's trying to go and where it's set in MCU. So if you don't want any spoilers for the movie, if you haven't seen it, don't watch this video. But if you have seen the movie, or if you're okay with some minor spoilers about the dynamics of this movie in MCU, you can watch it. Also, we'll be doing a live spoiler discussion on the movie soon, so do subscribe and the bell icon to get that. BVS of MCU, my
MCU.
god, okay.
I'm saying that because it's not just about the reaction, like the reaction between fans versus critic. Like I think that is a bit similar, but I think more than that, just like BVS, I felt this film it tried with some new ideas. It brought in some new ideas which we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Yet it had like problem in executing them properly, and
Hmm.
I think that is where that is why I would say, like, I would compare this film with BBS.
Yeah.
And I think also seeing, I mean, of course, seeing how critics have reacted to it versus how fans are reacting to it, and even fans are not like, it's not entirely positive, it's still like mixed,
Mixed,
but
yeah.
more towards positive. Yeah, so I think in that sense I would definitely, like, that is also an added factor. But yeah, because of all these factors, I would call this as MCU's PVS.
Hearing all about the film before I watched it, right? That people are like giving negative reviews and Rotten Tomatoes, it's rotten and all of that stuff. And they were like because they had gay scenes and all because of that people
Yeah.
are doing that. And some fans also not great. There's too much they were trying to do. And I hearing all of those things, when I went to watch the film, I kind of didn't feel that in a sense. Honestly, I didn't feel that, oh, they was too dense, they're trying too much in one movie, it didn't feel that. The bigger problem, of course, there's some parts you feel rushed, it's like maybe they should have stick to an origin story instead of
Yeah.
merging it with MCU directly. But
Yeah.
my biggest issue with the film is that it's set in MCU.
Yeah.
That's the
True.
biggest issue,
Exactly.
and I'm actually making a
Mm.
video about it on my personal channel, so you can watch it there also. Problem is that suddenly we have gone cosmic. There's
Mm.
this, celestial, basically after this movie, none of the first 23 movies make sense. Like,
Yeah.
not sense, but
Exactly.
basically, like, they don't matter anymore. You just
They
have
are redundant.
suddenly, you have dialed 100
Mm-hmm.
suddenly, and it feels like none of the things that has happened before doesn't really matter. Like,
Yeah.
now, I don't think even Thor is like a pawn. Like, he's like a human who gets killed in these movies. That's what I feel, honestly, after
Okay.
watching the film.
Mm-hmm.
And at a lot of moments I'm like, okay, these things are happening, where are the Avengers?
Mm-hmm.
Where are, like, I don't, Avengers are disbanded, maybe, like, we have no
Mm-hmm.
idea what's happening
Yeah.
after Endgame. The way
Yeah.
Endgame ended, it didn't give us any answers. Okay, Falcon and the Winter Soldier gave us, okay, some answers, but very not very clear. What do people know what really
Mm.
happened? There's this okay, well, that's going to spoil us, but like, even in this film, there's no addressing of that Avengers thing and what's happening.
Mm.
There are, I think, in the
Yeah.
trailer also there were some hints about them pepping up some Marvel Easter eggs. First of all, visually, it's, stylistically, it's very distinct to other MCU films.
Yes.
So
Mm.
when they talk about Marvel, it feels a little off. And
Yeah.
when you imagine, oh, this is all happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I've been watching in the last 25 films, I suddenly feel this disconnect. And I think I had a similar disconnect while watching
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
now
Okay.
Shang-Chi has opened this new world, that there's a hidden layer through which you has this new kingdom.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, now how would that, has any relevance to what Iron Man was?
Mm.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
Iron Man's whole arc was that, okay, this is a Earth and they are humans, I have to protect it, I have to shield it. And
Mm.
in
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, there's another world also in Earth. And then in this movie, The Earth is something else altogether. No
Yeah.
spoilers again, but it's like it's
Yeah, the
breaking.
definition they are themselves like they define it and then they change it later on like themselves. I
Yeah, and
think
it's like
yeah.
it's breaking the universe for me because the
Hmm.
it's not now fitting together. That's the way,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
like
see, I think that is going to happen a lot. Like each time they introduce a new character with like new mythology behind it, that is going to happen. Like they're talking. I mean, we all know like Blade is going to get introduced at some point. When that happens, they'll bring in the concept of vampires and all that, and werewolf and all that to them. So that will again bring a whole new world.
yeah,
Then
man.
like
It's like then X
which other
Men. We still
character?
haven't gone to X
Yeah.
Men.
Yeah, Fantastic Four also. I think Fantastic Four they'll change the origin a lot. They won't keep it like the comics, but when once that happens, then that I think that will still be a bit similar to like what Eternals is. So maybe not that, but yeah, like basically you get the point that each time they introduce a new character with a whole new
Yeah,
history behind it, there is going to be like this thing is going to happen. This is a very I feel like yeah, this is actually a very comic booky thing where they keep retconning. Yeah, that's the word.
yeah.
They keep retconning what they have already done, and yeah, I think that's unfortunate. I feel like yeah, this. I mean, we are finally at a point in the MCU where they are retconning just like how they retcon in the comics. And till now, the effect has not been like in comics. People don't care about it, but in films, it's a completely different like language. So in that till now, of course, the reception has been like mixed. I think I mean they have to figure out a way because they will continue doing it, but they will have to figure out a way in which like it is more seamless. It is not like how audiences are feeling mixed like this. Like if they want audiences to keep liking it, keep
Yeah.
their whatever review reception and all that towards positive, like they'll have to figure out some other way or something.
Because that's also one of my point that suddenly now because of this new trying something new, right? MCU is getting
Mm.
divided into two.
Mhm.
There are people who are film critics of all those people like, hey, MCU, you need to do something fresh, new. I'm bored of this.
Yeah.
And then there are some general audience basically who just wants to watch an MCU film. That's a brand. There's action,
Mm.
comedy. There's a fun, enjoyment. And
And
this
there's a
film,
post credit.
yeah, and there's a post-credit scene and that'll be lead to some big thing. That's what their expectation is,
Yeah.
and this film doesn't fulfill that,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think basically that's why it's getting so many negative reviews because of that part of the audience which feel it's boring, and
Hmm.
I totally understand that because they are going in for a big adventure and a fun, and there's all these elements in the film, but it's more of like a slow film
Hmm.
about, it's
Yeah.
a family drama basically, and I think
Yeah.
for me that was the favorite part.
Yeah. Me
I
too.
love the
Yeah.
ending. I love the ending that it is a CG battle, but it's the stakes are different. It's
Hmm.
not about it
Yeah.
is about world ending, but it's actually not.
Hmm.
The stakes are so it's like so fun, but yeah, dude, like it's I definitely want to watch it again to
Hmm.
see how well it works, because now I'll be because first time I'm focusing on the plot and the characters and everything, and now I can
Yeah.
sense like where it's going, how it's done, and honestly,
Even like if you plan to watch it second time, like even in that, I'm hearing a lot of people are liking it a lot second time around, or they are like just if they liked it the first time, they are like straight up hating it after watching the second time. So that will be interesting, actually. Yeah. What
and
your thoughts will be?
what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
Characters, focus more on characters.
So like there's a major plot point in the film, kind of a twist you may say,
Hmm.
where a big revelation happens, and that was actually kind of spoiled by the trailers for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah,
because you got my
yes,
point,
yes,
right?
yes, yes, I
Because
understood.
that's such
I was
a,
like, oh, that scene is like we have already seen a
yeah.
part of it in the trailers. Like,
And
yeah.
that scene actually contradicts a statement by one of the characters in the film. So
Hmm.
suddenly my brain is it's ringing that how can you say
Yeah.
that, because I've seen that scene. It makes no so all of that again, man. I think it's very difficult to talk without spoilers. It's very hard to do that. But I guess that's also one thing, right? That the film is very different than what we have seen. So
Hmm.
definitely it will not be perfect. You cannot. I think that's why Guardians of the Galaxy is still the best film of MCU by many.
Hmm.
I think by you also.
Yeah.
It's one of your favorites.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, not the most
Which
favorite,
is the
but
most
yeah.
favorite one? Endgame, Infinity War,
Mine,
Winter Soldier. Mine is
No, I
Civil
don't think
War.
Winter Soldier. Yeah, I think Civil War or Endgame or Infinity War. Sorry, Civil War or
Okay.
Infinity
Yeah, mine is also like, very close, both.
War.
But I think Civil War, just the way it made me feel while watching it.
Oh
The
yeah.
storytelling was so, like, it was so well done,
Hmm.
was that my favorite term? Subverting
Subverting.
expectations. That's a favorite term.
Yeah.
And that film really did that to me. So I always be a
Hmm.
big fan of it. And it's also, a very particular story and evolves all the characters in the world. That's
Yeah.
what, that's what from this point, right? Now, if you put an origin story, if you, you know, bring new characters and all, and if you're not delving into, the cinematic universe, then I feel like
Hmm.
cheated, or feel like this, how is possible all of these things, that logical
Hmm.
brain of mine, because now you establish this, universe,
Yeah.
and now you're telling me that such a big event happened and no one showed up, no one showed up,
Like
like,
all, I think, okay, that's a bit spoiler, but yeah, in the like the the final act, the
yeah.
CGI battle, like the what was happening was a very big thing. Like, how can like no one show up?
Yeah,
That's
like you're telling me that no one could in the entire world could predict, like,
hmm,
scientifically, and come there that something is happening,
hmm,
so it
yeah.
I think we cannot
I
talk
think,
without
but then
spoilers
yeah,
now.
that is again, a comic book logic that in comic book
That's
all
the
the
thing.
time like
If a DC
world-ending
movie
things
does that,
happen.
I don't mind it, because they're very vague. There's no
Hmm.
established set of rules yet. But in MCU there are. And
Hmm.
even the ending of the film, dude, like, it felt very
I think
awkward.
more than MCU, it's just like live action filmmaking. Like live action filmmaking rules are somehow,
Uh, I don't know, man. Okay, but coming to the ending, it felt so
Hmm.
abrupt. Did you feel the same
Hmm.
way? It felt, anticlimactic in a
How
way.
okay,
Suddenly such big
okay.
thing happen, and then, put the steam off, and suddenly things get better, and then, okay, and then suddenly in this
Hmm.
movie, oh shit, you feel like the movie stopped halfway.
Okay,
And
okay. Yeah, I see. Why? Okay.
and and again, the both the post credit scenes, again, I actually called you to know what
Hmm.
was that. Both the post credit scenes, for general public, will make no sense. Unlike Iron Man
Hmm.
1, right? Samuel L.
Yeah.
Jackson walking in, people will lose their mind. He's the biggest actor, everyone knows him. There's no way some
Hmm.
people don't know him. Even I, who
Yeah.
hadn't seen any movies of him, know him. Oh, he's someone, I know him some way,
Hmm.
and they're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, what it is, and then you find out, oh, it's that, and it's like, oh shit, that's the feeling here. The post credit scenes is the personality who shows up, but I have
Hmm.
no idea in respect of the story what it's trying to do.
Yeah,
And then,
and I
even,
think they just mentioned the like what is his relation to another character, another popular character.
yeah, my theater,
Yeah.
everyone's shouting, so I missed that dialogue.
Oh,
But there's
okay.
some things I know what you're saying. I heard that word
Yeah.
and I didn't understand what they're trying to say there. And I have so many questions about it. Dude, this is so difficult to do without spoilers.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Let's go spoilers. Let's go spoilers.
Okay.
We'll be definitely
Okay.
diving more into live session, but let's
Yeah,
go
show a
spoilers
big
first.
spoiler.
Big spoiler, guys. Spoiler. I'll keep a spoiler alert over here so people
Hmm.
know it's a spoiler if they're skipping ahead. But yeah, man, that even Kit Harington, first of all, like,
Yeah.
she falls in love with a human, and he is also someone. This
Yeah, that's what.
everyone is a
Yeah.
hero. Like,
Everyone
the
has
whole
some
population
powers,
is
some history, something. Yeah.
That was, I only knew that because of people talking about it on social media. Oh,
Hmm.
Kit Harington Flash, he's actually Black Knight or whatever Knight in the
Yeah,
comics.
Black Knight.
That's the
Yeah.
only thing I knew. And the way at the end
Yeah.
he says, "No, I have to tell you something." I'm like, oh man, this is
Oh
so.
yeah, yeah. Even I was like, come on, really?
Why? And then you put a
Yeah.
end credit scene, and even that you don't show the person who's talking. So they were,
Yeah.
my sister said, "It is, what is it, Kang?" I'm like, "No, that was not Kang."
Yeah,
Then she said, "What
even
is
I was
Watcher?"
hearing
I'm like, "Oh
Kang.
man, that's really sound like the actor."
Watcher, yeah.
And it's like, that's fine. And then she says, "Oh, the writer said it's Blade." Okay, like, it's like,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, that you don't expect that from, like,
Mm.
honestly, in Spider-Man Homecoming, the end credit scene where Captain America is talking about patience, that was more
Mm.
interesting and, funny than any
Yeah.
of this. But
I
how
feel
is,
like yeah, and the first post credit also like first of all
okay,
the
that guy
CG
is
on
brother
that
of
character.
Thanos.
Yeah, he's Thanos'
So that
Eros
means
Thanos' brother.
he's an eternal. That means Thanos is also eternal.
Thanos was an Eternal with like a deviant gene, which is why he looked different. Like he looked like an alien or
So, but
something.
isn't Eternals created like robots?
They are created. I don't know how they will explain that. Let's see.
Dude, this is
So,
like,
or I think they might just change it altogether. Like Thanos is not an Eternal. He was. I think he's born out of two Eternals, so that's why he's like half Eternal and half something else. So, which is why he looks different. So, yeah.
okay. Honestly, I would have loved to see a Thanos origin story than Eternals. But honestly, dude, they could have, if this movie Eternals was like split in two movies, and the first movie is all about their history, which happened next to our history behind, which we
Hmm.
don't know about, and you end at that
Hmm.
1566 when that they've split apart. That could have been the
Yeah.
climatic scene, that they didn't do anything, and he takes all everyone with them in
Yeah, just
Amazon.
like Justice League,
Yeah, that you could have ended it there,
Zack
and
Snyder's
the
Justice League.
second version, when you have built up all this mythos of Eternals, and do you think this movie
Modern
suffers
day.
again from what Age of Ultron suffered from, where suddenly you're talking about these six
I.
stones and so much rushed, and
Hmm.
every character you're trying to so much Black Widow's history, and all of that, and it feels so much
Hmm.
bloated. Do you think?
I think I would say no. I like more than that. I'm going to compare this with like Justice League, and in that sense, that I feel like it just as it is introducing a lot of characters and it has less time. It needs time like Zack Snyder's Justice League, like that much duration. I feel like if there was a 4 hour cut of this same story, what they shown us, that would have worked way better, like way better. Hmm.
But yeah, man, I really like this main story when it becomes like, oh, deviants are not actually the villains. That aspect I really
Hmm.
liked. Again, they twisted that thing which we saw in Captain
Yeah.
Marvel also.
Hmm.
So that point I really
But
liked.
then, I mean, still they were by the end they were still like just CGI villains who were getting killed off. So like I never really cared. I kind of liked the
Yeah,
twist, but I still did not care enough.
I wish they gave that will like he didn't die off.
Yeah,
Like it felt like the villain was only there for Angelina Jolie to get back in
fight.
senses.
Yeah,
That was the only point of it.
yeah,
And I really thought he'll kill her. I'm like, oh my god, but no.
yeah.
That
I
scene was
think it
really
was.
brutal.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
surprising how many of them actually got killed. Like two
yeah.
of them got killed, right? I did not
Like
expect
Ajax,
that.
like that was really like a big scene, like
Yeah.
emotional scene. Like him, she was kind of a mother to everyone, right? And he just pushes
Hmm.
off, and it's kind of a family drama, like like
Yeah.
with some violence and
Yeah.
superhero ness. That was the best part of it.
Hmm. I think even I love the part when in the end, like he tries to kill Cersei, but he can't. So
Yeah,
he just like he flies away. I
yeah,
think he kills himself. So
yeah.
yeah, I
And I think
love.
she said, right, he was based after Superman. That
Yeah,
too, Zack Snyder. You only shared it on Discord, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, dude,
So
and
many DC references were there.
yeah,
Did you see that?
directly Superman and Batman, and
Batman,
yeah,
Alfred. Oh God.
yeah. So that was fun. I was gonna say, did you remember that when Kit Harington and both of them meet for the first time and they come,
Yeah.
also you're like, any Game of Thrones reference there? Will they drop it? Like your brother, something like that.
I mean, that was more than enough, I think. That
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
reference more than enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, so much to talk about. We'll do that in the live session
Hmm.
and talk about all the characters one by one. We'll cover everything. Definitely some interesting ones. Some I was okay with. But yeah, so
Hmm.
do subscribe and hit the bell icon for that. And again, guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, again, like, share, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And we'll see you next time. Keep geeking out.